treatment. Majority of 28 patients experienced temporary worsening of pain 5 to 10 days after the procedure. That was attributed to procedure related to tissue trauma and temporary neuritis. The other complication like other procedure intervention, infection, hematoma formation, neural damage, nerve injury, vascular particulate embolism, weakness secondary to extraarticular exacerbation of the drug and the steroid. Transformer steroid injection, more common in cervical transformer, that is not now we indicate. Severe neurological complication are nerve trauma, dural puncture leading to spinal anesthesia, reaction to radio contrast agent. Spinal cord and brainstem infarction is the most important complication because of the transformer injections. These are the studies which gives the complication of spinal cord and brainstem infarction because of the anterior spinal artery syndrome, vascular infarction of spinal cord, cerebral infarction and brainstem infarction by the drug methylprednisolone, then cerebral and occipital cortex infarction, use of triamcinolone in C6 block, then use of methylprednisolone in C6 block having massive cerebral edema and death. The adherent intraarterial injection into cervical radicular artery causes occlusion of vessel leading to embolus, sludging, and most common in the methylprednisolone induced and very less in the beclomethasone and triamcinolone. It is because of the compromise of anterior spinal artery. There is one study report of paraplegia after transference nerve block in lumbosacral region caused by injury to artery of Adam's. Undetected intraarterial injection of particulate steroid injection is the cause, leading to embolization and causing thrombosis. This is also one study which gives the case report of paraspinal abscess complicated by endocarditis following facet joint injection. The patient presented after 2 days after the procedure to emergency department and on examination gives general reason, oscillatory notes, blood tests are positive for methicillin sensitivities. The Staphylococcus aureus positive, diagnosed with alpha S1 paraspinal aspect with infective endocarditis and treated successfully with the antibiotic. This is also one of the case report of circulation stroke, posterior circulation stroke after C1, C2 intraarticular facet steroid injection because of the diffuse microvascular injury. According to this, the report, the devastating neurological injury can occur during cervical transference of facet injection because of particulate steroid entering the posterior cerebral circulation. And he said, performing cervical procedure only when the benefits clears outweigh the risk, and one should adopt safety measure to minimize the risk. One more case report of cerebral herniation after cervical transference epidural injection. Survived but had residual deficit. Difficult with short-term memory loss and concentration with persistent diplopia and right lateral gaze. A complication because of the trigeminal neuralgia with RF has very low morbidity and virtually no mortality. The most prevalent complication is sensory loss, masseter muscle paralysis. In the long term is anesthesia dolorosa, cornea hypothesia, keratitis and temporal paralysis of the third and fourth cranial nerves. More frequent and less serious complication is hematoma that can be treated very easily by ice fermentation and disappear after a few days. There is one study which reported the result of 25 years with 1,600 patients, having 5.7% of decreased coronary reflex, 4.1% of weakness and paralysis of masseter muscle, anesthesia in 1%, anesthesia dolorosa in 0.8%, keratitis in 0.6%, and temporary paralysis of third and fourth cranial nerve, that is 0.8%. About the discogenic, you know all the procedure done for the discogenic pain, minimally invasive annuloplasty, percutaneous disc decompression, endoscopic percutaneous discectomy. The rare complication what we reported is catheter breakage, nerve root injury, post disc herniation. Discitis is a very common and disastrous complication, radicular pain, severe headache, Pada-Equana syndrome, and water body osteonecrosis. As already said, the most important component of minimal invasive is the discitis. Incidence is very low, 0.25 to 0.7%. And the patient after discitis will increase pain within 1 week after the procedure. Should be examined very carefully. The examination must include patient history, physical examination, and laboratory examination for infective foci. If the infection parameter are elevated or normal, in case doubt, MRI should be done and one should rule out the discitis. The major organism for the discitis is Staphylococcus aureus, and it can be reduced by routine prophylactic use of intravenous and intradiscal antibiotic. According to Sharma et al., they have used through the needed technique for reducing the discitis, and they reduce the complication rate by 2.7 to 0.7 percentage.
Chairman, how many? We have 1 minute to go.
Okay. This is also one study which also used same technique, and he also reduced the complication by this procedure. However, the international guidelines currently prescribe routine use of peri-procedural prophylactic antibiotic. There is also complication because of the neurotic block. It is because of the direct injury of the needle, intrathecal epidural space, injection of the drug, thoracolumbar nerve root injury, lumbar plexus injury, superior hypogastric injury, and because of the interruption of blood flow due to the injury to the vessels. A complication are neuralgia, impotence, loss of sphincter, paresis. Vascular complications are aortic dissection, retroperitoneal hematoma, and rare complication pneumothorax, pleural effusion, kidney perforation, rhabdomyolysis. The complication with vertebroplasty is spread into spinal canal, cement spread, late collapse after vertebroplasty, migration of cement, pulmonary migration of cement, and pseudoaneurysm because of the lumbar artery injury. Because of the modified complication related to spinal cord stimulation is related to procedure, device, and pulse generator. These are the various complications: post-dural puncture headache, nerve injury, epidural abscess, epidural hematoma, wound infection, seroma, and pain at the implant site. Because of the device related to electrode migration, fracture of the leads, painful stimulation, and because of the related to pulse generator, device flipping, device malfunctioning, skin burn, allergy reaction to device. I will directly go into these are the how to reduce the complication because of the neuromodulation is appropriate training, credentially and privileging, algorithm approach, checklist procedure approach, proper selection of the patient, algorithm trial, and post-operative management of the patient properly. Because of the intrathecal drug delivery system, granuloma, loss of analgesia, frequent need to dose escalation, new onset radicular pain. These are the presentation because of the catheteristic granuloma. To conclude my talk, complication of pain medicine practice are common. Intervention technique carries significant complication and risk. The complication can be reduced by careful patient selection, excellent anatomical knowledge, meticulous technique. We must acutely aware of unusual and unexpected symptoms of image before, during, and after procedure. Furthermore, we must educate our patient about the potential complication so that they can report after going home. Finally, we must systematically examine treatment outcome and complication in our own practice through reports in the medical literature and through systems like ASA closed claim startup. To end my talk, the awareness may be raised, disturbing pattern recognized, and improvement in the patient selection. Technique promoted to the medical community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chan. I think the question answer will be taken at the end of the session. What came out from his presentation, unfortunately, he actually ventured into the preventive aspect also, which is our next speaker's talk, that how to prevent the complication. But anyway, what he started with the algorithm and the other all protocols, again is a part of prevention. But the most striking point, what he mentioned, is prevention is better than cure. So if you start looking for the preventive aspect of the complications, I think most of them you can avoid. But the complication is not a ghost, it is a reality, and what we have seen through literature, what he has presented, that it is really happening, and happening at a large scale. I would have audience would have appreciated if he would have segregated, because every time the less common and the common or the most common were mixing. So we would have segregated them into the groups, like what are the most common, what are the less common, whether they major or minor, or what are with the commonly occurring procedures, what are occurring with the less commonly used procedures, would have been little better. And what he mentioned, the epidural abscess, like 1 in 800, it is, I feel it is a either underrated or overrated, both ways, because what I say, there are people who must have used 50,000 or 60,000 epidurals and must have not came across even a single one. So this particular high incidence of abscess, what I perceive, it is in a particular type of patient, maybe with the low immunity or when the procedures are done with the less hygiene. And he also tried to show that the complications are not spared, not even a single body part is spared from the top to bottom in that regard. And he was a little modest mentioning the complication of epidural steroid, particularly lumbar, where he has sent the paraplegia and other things, but not the death. And death is also a reality when you do the most commonly used procedure like lumbar epidural. Thank you, Dr. Chan. Now we come to the next speaker. Yeah, give him at least big round of applause for making us aware that complication is a reality. Our next speaker is Dr. Sujit Gautam. He doesn't require any introduction, though he is not too senior, so to say, but he's in pain practice for last so many years, and he's doing very, very great job. He is presently assistant professor in the Department of Anesthesiology, SGPGI Lucknow. He is managing chronic and cancer pain, particularly through the Pain and Palliative Care Clinic. He is in charge of that acute pain service. He has done the postdoctoral certificate course from the BHU Banarasi. He has the fellowship of interventional pain practice and awarded by the WIP, as you all know. He has done international 14 national publications. He has wrote 4 chapters in the book, creditable. And he has particular interest in the chronic pain management. And he is going to speak about the next aspect, how to prevent the complications. Dr. Sujit.
Well, Dr. Jadam, thanks for nice introduction written by myself. Respected chairpersons, good morning everybody. Well, I would like to say thanks to Champ for making my job somewhat easier. So to begin with, if we look at the training opportunities presently available, the formal residency training is not present in this field. And few pain fellowships of 1 year duration do exist. Well, the situation is pretty worse as far as our country is concerned. So how do the knowledge and training is acquired by an individual